Have you ever wished you could instantly learn anything? Like, just snap your fingers and boom, you're a pro at something. Maybe as a kid, you wanted to learn how to do a backflip to impress your friends or catch the attention of a crush. Or maybe you wanted to learn how to play guitar, run faster, or master that viral dance everyone was doing. As we get older, our desire to learn changes. We want to gain skills that help us in life, like business, learning a new language, technology, or sports. But here's the truth. Most of us are terrible at learning efficiently. It's not our fault, though. School taught us to memorize facts for tests, then forget them as soon as the bell rang. But here's the thing. Memorization isn't real learning. Real learning is about understanding, applying, and remembering things so well that it feels like second nature. Think back to when you tried to learn something new, whether it was coding, playing an instrument, or picking up a new language. What did you do? Chances are you crammed for hours, read tons of information, or watched endless tutorials. And in the end, not much stuck, right? That's because most of us focus on input, reading, listening, watching, when we should focus on output, doing, practicing, and teaching. It's like trying to learn how to swim by reading a book. You might understand the theory, but once you hit the water, you'll sink. Learning is a hands-on sport. You have to dive in and get your hands dirty. Let's talk about something that can help you learn faster. The 80-20 rule, or Pareto principle. This rule says that 80% of your results come from 20% of your efforts. So when it comes to learning, focus on the key 20% of what will get you the most results. If you want to learn a new language, don't waste time memorizing thousands of words. Instead, focus on the 1,000 most common words you'll use in everyday conversations. For playing guitar, don't get caught up in complicated solos right away. Master the basic chords first. Once you have the essentials down, the rest becomes easier. Another technique that helps speed up learning is active recall. Instead of passively reviewing material, test yourself. Let's say you're studying history. After reading a paragraph, close the book and try to recall what you just read. It forces your brain to work harder, which strengthens your memory. Think of it like lifting weights for your brain. Staring at the weights doesn't make you stronger. You need to actually lift them. But be careful with cramming. Cramming feels productive at first, but it's a short-term fix. What works better is the spacing effect. This principle says you learn better when you spread out your study sessions over time. So instead of studying for 6 hours straight, try breaking it into 6 shorter sessions over a week. It's like carving a path through the woods. The first time is rough, but each time you walk through, the path gets clearer and easier to follow. Here's where things get really interesting. You've got to practice. Deliberate practice. This means focusing on the things you struggle with, not just the stuff you already know. It's uncomfortable at first, but that's where the real growth happens. For example, if you're learning to draw, don't just sketch the same thing over and over. Challenge yourself to draw things that are hard for you, like hands or faces. It's frustrating at first, but you'll improve much faster that way. One of the best ways to learn faster is to teach. This might sound odd. How can you teach something if you don't fully understand it? But that's exactly the point. When you teach, you have to organize your thoughts and explain things clearly. This helps you understand the material better. And if the person you're teaching asks questions, it makes you think even more deeply about the topic. You don't even have to find someone to teach. Just record yourself explaining what you've learned, like you're making a video. Pretend you're going to upload it for thousands of people to see. This will push you to make sure you really understand what you're saying. Another way to supercharge your learning is by engaging all your senses. Your brain loves variety, and the more senses you use in the learning process, the better you'll retain the information. Let's say you're learning Spanish. Don't just read the words. Listen to native speakers, watch Spanish videos, and speak the words out loud. Writing things down, listening, and speaking them creates stronger connections in your brain. It's like building a house. The more materials you use, the stronger the house becomes. Now let's be real. Learning doesn't have to be boring. In fact, the more fun you have, the faster you'll learn. Set small, achievable goals and reward yourself when you reach them. Turn challenges into games. Compete with a friend or use apps that track your progress and give you badges for achievements. Every time you hit a milestone, your brain gets a little shot of dopamine, the feel-good chemical, which motivates you to keep going. But here's a little warning. All that time you spend on your phone can get distracting. If you're learning but constantly switching between TikTok and YouTube, you're not going to focus. So try to create a distraction-free environment. Turn off notifications and close unnecessary tabs. Your brain can only focus on one thing at a time, so don't multitask. And let's not forget the importance of sleep. Sleep is crucial for learning. During sleep, your brain organizes everything you've learned, strengthens connections, and clears out unnecessary information. If you're pulling all-nighters to cram, you're actually hurting your chances of remembering what you studied. Taking regular breaks also boosts your productivity. Your brain, like your muscles, needs recovery time. Finally, let's talk about mindset. If you believe you're bad at learning, you'll struggle. But if you adopt a growth mindset, the belief that you can improve with effort, you'll be amazed at what you can achieve. Instead of saying, "I can't do this," say, "I can't do this yet." That one little word makes a huge difference. It shifts your focus from failure to growth and potential. The most important thing to remember is to enjoy the process of learning. It's not just about acquiring new skills, it's about growing as a person. So get out there, try new things, make mistakes, and learn from them. And before you know it, you'll be mastering skills you once thought were impossible.